students. Today we are going to start the lesson cell structure and functions. So before going to the topic, we will discuss some important facts. These facts are not from our textbook, so these are all general facts. Okay, first one. Did you know that there are more neurons in your brain than the stars in the Milky Way galaxy? Yes, the number of neurons in our brain is greater than the stars in the Milky Way galaxy. And the second one, consider the blood vessels which contain the blood cells and lay them end to end, they will cover around 100,000 kilometers. Really, they will cover around 100,000 kilometers. That's a two-time trip for you around the earth. And if that's not all, if you take the DNA out from the nucleus of all cells of a body, of a person's body, one from a person's body, then it will stretch to the sun not once but 600 times. So to appreciate the wonder of life as we know it, we are go really microscopic footing, going to a different world that is visible to us only with the help of a special equipment called microscope, which did not existed before the 17th century, and world that opened a wonder to help us discover all that. We have discovered and understand what we are made up of the minutest details. We are going to discuss the most important unit of our body, a unit that makes us what we are, tiny units which comes together in perfect coordination to give you the gift of life. You cannot ignore it because it invades every millimeter of your body. The cells comes in so many shapes and sizes and also so versatile. Essentially, this unit is so small it cannot be seen with the naked eye. But this small thing has such a big impact in our lives that it makes our life and hence our existence possible. The cell, it makes life mission possible. If this is not reason enough to learn more about the self, you should know that we human beings. As I said earlier, human body is made up of cells only. These are all the minutest particles. So if we want to count the number, I want to calculate the total number of cells in the human body. Oh my god, I can't even imagine that. It is not millions, it is not billions, it is in trillions. It is in trillions. In general, in an average human body, it contains 3.49 into 10 to the power of 13 number of cells. That's a very big number. That's a very large number. Yes or no? So at the same time, cells are the minutest particles, but cells are all made up of some atoms. We all know that everything in this universe is made up of atoms only. Sun, earth, any planet, water, plants, humans, everything is made up of some atoms only, like hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen. We all know some basics in chemistry. Yes or no? So like that only, human body is made up of some atoms. Majority of the human body is constructed by the hydrogen, carbon, oxygen and nitrogen. So besides of that, other atoms like phosphorus, potassium, sodium also gives some structures in the human body. Let's coming to the concept. We all know some information about the cells and its structure in previous classes. So we all know that cells have different shapes and different sizes, and also based on the number of cells we can divide organisms into, living organisms into two groups, unicellular and multicellular. Unicellular and multicellular. Unicellular means if any organism is made up of only single cell. I'm repeating again, if any organism is made up of only single cell, then it is called as unicellular organism. So for example, amoeba, paramecium, euglena, these are all made up of only single cell, which means that in those bodies single cell performs each and every minute function. But when coming to the other organisms, I mean plants, animals, humans, we are all made up of number of cells. We even can't count them. We are all made up of number of cells. That's why only we are all called as multicellular organisms. Multicellular organisms. In starting days, these cells are studied under optical microscope. In starting days, these cells are studied under optical microscope. When Antony van Leeuwenhoek discovered the compound microscope, then onwards we started studying these cells under compound microscope, and then onwards only we get some idea about different cell organelles like nucleus, cytoplasm, cell wall, cell membrane, mitochondria, etc. etc. So these are all different types of cell organelles. What is the meaning of cell organelle? What is the meaning of cell organelle? Organelle means it is a very tiny and little part in the cell. It is very tiny and little part in the cell. For example, in the case of human body, we have different organs. We have hands, legs, head, eyes, ears, heart, kidneys. So we all have different organs. So these different organs performs different functions. So as like that only, in the cell also, these cell organelles performs different functions. So when we observe any cell like plant cell or animal cell, there are some common points are there. There are some differences, at the same time there are some common points. For example, cell membrane is present in both plant cell and animal cell. Cell membrane is present in both animal cell and plant cell. At the same time, when we come into the case of chloroplast, it is only present in the plant cells, not in the animal cells. When we come into the case of chloroplast, it is only present in the plant cell, not in the animal cell. As like that, cell wall also present only in the plant. Next, we are going to discuss about the different cell organelles, their functions, their structures in the cell. We will start this one with cell membrane or plasma membrane. Both are same. Cell membrane or plasma membrane, both are same. So we all know that cell membrane is the outermost layer in the animal cell. I am repeating again. Just listen carefully. Cell membrane is the outermost layer in the animal cell. It gives shape and size to the animal cell. But when coming to the case of plant cell, it is just another layer under the cell wall. It is just another layer under the cell wall. Now all of you look at the activity 1 in your biology textbook. So what is the name of the activity 1 there? Observing cell membrane. Observing cell membrane. Here we have to take a rheoleaf. Rheo means it's a type of plant. Here we have to take a rheo leaf, tear the leaf in single stroke. We have to tear the leaf in single stroke and take a small piece of leaf which is light colored. Here again we have to take a small piece from the leaf part which is in transparent color or light color. Now we have to put it on a slide and put a drop of water on it. Now here we have to put this part on a slide and place a drop of water on it. Then we have to cover this one with a cover slip and observe under the microscope. I am repeating again. Listen carefully. First step. Here we have to take a rheoleaf. Second, now we have to tear the leaf in single stroke. Then we have to separate a small piece from the leaf which is light colored portion. Then put this one on slide and place a drop of water on it. Then we have to put a cover slip. Again we have to observe under a microscope. Under observation we can see the rheoleaf peel cells as like in the diagram. Now we have to take 1 to 2 drops of dilute salt solution. Here we have to take 1 to 2 drops of dilute salt solution. Dilute salt solution means some water containing a very little amount of salt. Some water containing a very little amount of salt, that is called as dilute salt solution. So we have to take this and put 1 to 2 drops on the leaf peel cells and leave it for 5 to 10 minutes and leave it for 5 to 10 minutes. After 5 to 10 minutes, if again we observe, then we can see some change in the peel cells, some change in the peel cells. That is nothing but plasmolysis. That is nothing but plasmolysis. When we put salt solution over the peel of Rio leaf, water present inside the Rio leaf cells comes out. I am repeating again. When we put the dilute salt solution over the peel of Rio leaf, water present inside the Rio leaf cells comes out. It is called as plasmolysis. It is called as plasmolysis. I mean, it results in the shrinking of cytoplasm. It results in the shrinking of cytoplasm, not in the shrinking of cell membrane. It is just results in the shrinking of cytoplasm. The outer boundary is called as cell membrane. The outer boundary, which is in colored part, is called as cell membrane. However, we can observe the structure of cell membrane only through the electron microscope. So I am repeating again. The outer part is called as cell membrane there, which is in color part. So we can observe the deep structure of cell membrane only in the electron microscope. If we have to discuss this, the characters of the cell membrane is flexible and is made up of mainly lipids and proteins. Cell membrane is flexible. It can be flexible and is made up of mainly with lipids and proteins. Lipids and proteins. And what are the functions of cell membrane there? What are the functions of cell membrane there? So the cell membrane is the outermost layer, as I said before. It gives shape to the cell. It gives shape to the cell and also separates the cytoplasm. Cytoplasm means it is a jelly-like substance inside the cell. I mean, for our human body, we have blood. Like that, for every cell, there is a liquid portion there. There is some amount of liquid medium that is called as cytoplasm. So the cell membrane separates the cytoplasm from the external environment. That's why only it is called as plasma membrane. That's why only it is called as plasma membrane. And also it gives some amount of protection to the cell. It gives some amount of protection to the cell. Inside a cell, one finds a very specific composition of substances. Inside a cell, one finds a very specific composition of substances, and balance of various substances is maintained by the cell membrane only. And maintenance of the substances can be happened only by the cell membrane only. Any substance entering or leaving the cell can do so only through this membrane only. I mean, any substance, if it have to enter into the cell, through the cell membrane only. If it have to leave the cell, through the cell membrane only. That's why only it is called as selectively permeable membrane. Selectively permeable membrane. I mean, here the cell membrane allows every not allows each and every substance from out to inside, inside to out. It only allows some specific substances to inside and also allows some specific substances to outside. I mean, it selects them. That's why only it is called as selectively permeable membrane. Selectively permeable membrane. We will discuss this character or this feature very deeply in the fourth chapter. I think it's fourth chapter, movement of material across the cell membrane. There we will discuss it very deeply. That's all about cell membrane. And the next cell organelle is cell wall. The next cell organelle is cell wall. So already I said before that cell wall is a very unique feature which is only present in plant cells. Cell wall is a very unique feature which is only present in plant cells only in the plant cells. While the cell membrane acts as the outer layer in the animal cell, the cell wall acts as the outer layer in the plant cell. Don't confuse. I'm repeating again. Cell membrane is the outer layer in the animal cell. In the case of plant cell, cell wall is the outer layer. Cell wall is the outer layer. Here, cell wall is made up of a complex sugar material called cellulose. Cell wall is made up of a very complex sugar material called cellulose. So this is also considered as one of the main important difference between plant cell and animal cell. Mainly it differentiates between plant cell and animal cell. If a cell wall is present, then it is called as plant cell. If there is no cell wall, then it is called as animal cell. So next, what are the features of cell wall there? Cell wall is very tough but flexible. Cell wall is very tough but flexible porous layer. Porous layer means it contains a very tiny and minute holes. Porous layer means it contains a very tiny and minute holes, and also it gives a different shape to the cell and also provides protection. It gives a definite shape to the plant cell and also provides some protection. It also exerts an inward wall pressure to resist the outward directed pressure. It exerts an inward wall pressure to resist the outward directed pressure. This is the class for today. In next class, we will discuss about the nucleus, cytoplasm, endoplasmic reticulum, etc. and remaining other cell organelles. Okay. Thank you one and all.